Hello, hello. I am on the road again. Did a walk earlier today and just was working on gathering my thoughts today. Had a busy morning and early afternoon even. So I'm going to switch it over. So I'm getting in the car and heading up to see my mom. She made dinner for tonight. So I'm going to have dinner with my mother. Some of you know I'm German. Both my parents are German. So we had a lot of German foods that we grew up with. And one of them is called, it's of course the German name, Kartoffelschnitz. Kartoffelschnitz is basically potato soup. You just add anything you want into it. Potatoes, starts with potatoes and chicken base. Carrots, celery, if you want other vegetables, and sometimes she adds knackwurst, so Heikim. Sometimes she adds hot dogs cut up. Sometimes she adds chicken. It could be almost any kind of protein you can imagine is typically in it, and it's delicious. And sometimes she'll do like an egg noodle separate, put it on the side, pour the soup over it. Yum. That's what I like anyway. Comfort food. It's for me, it's comfort food anyway. Probably not the healthiest thing on the planet, but it's certainly far from the worst. And anyways, today I was going to talk about the other step that I did post the characteristics. I think it was early this morning on the feed from yesterday's talk about different characteristics if you want to just like review them for yourself. And one of the other things that happens when you do the fifth step is that afterwards you do something, fourth step rather, is you do the fifth step, right? After 4 comes 5. But there's usually a long lag time in between because it does take quite a long time to do a formal fourth step. So after taking your searching and fearless moral inventory and either writing it out or putting it on paper for yourself or just knowing that you've done it, there's booklets that you can do with it and that kind of thing in the program anyway. So step 5 is admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. So there's religions that do that formally, which would be the Catholic religion having, you go and see the priest and you tell them all your nasty deeds and they give you absolution and tell you how many Hail Marys you do. I know this not from myself because I've never been there, but I have a lot of friends that are Catholic and they've told me about it. So I do know kind of how that works. And I bet you I know very little about the rest of the religions if they have formal contrition and that type of thing. But in the program, it's a little different. Typically, people do it with what they call their sponsor. So it's definitely a trusted person, somebody who you can tell all to that's not going to go and blab it all over the neighborhood. And I think the first part is probably the most important part and is admitted to God. So sometimes admitting it to yourself and to God are the two most biggest pieces of, admitting your wrongs. Is recognizing them is one thing, admitting them is another. And I know there's a lot of people that just don't feel worthy of God's love. But I can tell you right now, from where I sit, God loves you anyways. No matter what you've done, no matter who you've harmed, including yourself, no matter what kinds of things you've done in the past, and whatever has happened to you in your life that you aren't proud of, you are already forgiven. You are already worthy. You are already loved. And just because you don't think you are doesn't mean you're not. So I think at some point you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I forgive me for all the things I've done in my life, not only to myself, but to others, and move on. And so if you have to do that every day, 10 times a day, to get to a place where you feel like you are worthy and you are loved and you are worth living on the planet, then that's what you got to do. But at some point you're going to believe it. especially if you look yourself in the eye and you do that. I've done it. I know how it feels. I've cried through a lot of them. But it's true. You do eventually get to a place where you do feel worthy, you do feel loved, and you do feel like God is, not looking to take you out at the next turn. And I think that's an important thing to know, not only in life in general, but as a concept for living, so that you don't feel like you're always kind of under the gun. And it's not to say that you want to, go out and do bad stuff all the time, and then you just absolve yourself of that, but rather that you are willing to take a look at those things that are less than what you would have it as an ideal for the way that you want to live your life, and then be able to address it in whatever way you need to, and then move forward without feeling guilty all the time. I think that's one of the biggest things. People live with a lot of guilt. And you know what? I'm going to probably guess that you feel the same way I did for a lot of years, as I felt responsible for so many things. So then I feel guilty for not doing the things that I felt responsible for that probably weren't even mine. My stuff, it wasn't my stuff necessarily. But there were plenty of things I felt responsible for that really had, was somebody else's responsibility, but I took it on as my own, and then felt guilty when I fell short. So if that's you, then that's important to know, to recognize that, right? So what I do a lot of the time is recognize that I did the best I could with what I had at the time. And I always say, when you know better, you do better. So you can't do better until you know better. And when you know better, that's when your shift will change how you do things and what you do, and how you kind of bring yourself to the world. And it also gives you an opportunity to forgive yourself and to allow yourself to be loved. Not only by yourself, for yourself, but by somebody else. A lot of people don't feel worthy of love. And you know what? Everyone's worthy of love. All people are worthy of love. And it's so important to have that in your life. I mean, it's one of our basic needs, is to be loved, right? So whether it's from your parents or a spouse, a significant other, your children, whoever, that is an important need that most people have. And a lot of people feel like they fall short in that area, where they're not being loved either the way they want to, or being able to show love the way they want to. So I think that's important to recognize, that you already are worthy of love. You are already worthy of God's love, and other people as well. And you know what? If you have people in your life that are not treating you lovingly, you need to think about that. Maybe you need to limit your time with those people. Maybe you need to set clearer boundaries with those people. Maybe you need to say something and like, hey, I don't like it when you talk to me like that. And you limit your time with them then, because you're giving them the opportunity to correct their behavior because they've hurt you, or what they've said is not appropriate. Or you can always walk away. I mean, there are times I've had to walk away from people who just are draining, and they're all about themselves. It's all me, me, me. And there isn't enough me, you, and me in there together for them. So then you got to move on. It doesn't do you any good to hang out with people that are not, let's say, supportive of you. And you know what it feels like to be loved, right? So you can then show that to someone else. But if you don't know what that feels like, then you need to work on getting it for yourself. And that's not an easy task. But to me, when I go into the fifth step and talk about admitting to God, to myself, and to another human being, the other human being, many times there's such an unburdening that happens when you're able to do that, that you feel like 100 pounds lighter. I know the very first time I did it was with my sponsor, and I'll tell you, I walked out of there, I don't remember how long it took. I just felt so relieved, like just got rid of the garbage, basically. It's kind of like starting with a clean slate again. And again, you definitely don't want to do this to somebody who doesn't understand the concept or what you're driving at and what you need to do in terms of this step. So if you don't have that in your life, then wait. Do not do it. It shouldn't just be somebody, anybody. It should definitely be someone who understands this concept. So I'll just put that caveat in. You don't do it with your husband or your wife or your significant other, first of all. That's a definite. But beyond that, there are other options, as we know. So I think the key important part is to kind of release yourself from the guilt that you've been carrying or the unworthiness that you feel on some level. And remember that you're a child of God. You're a child of a creator that's much better than and bigger than all of us combined. And that creator created you just the way you are. So how could that possibly be bad? You have to kind of look at it from that point of view as well, right? So for me, I just think of this step as a cleansing step, a fresh start, a way to, bring myself into a right space with my creator and know that, hey, I'm okay. I'm okay just the way I am. I'm okay with the way my life is right now. I'm going to pull the garbage cans up for my son. And I am going to be able to do this again and again if I need to. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. So I think one of the things that I think about with that is, I'm going to wave to a few people here. Hey, Cheryl, Laura, speak the truth. I am speaking the truth, I hope. For me anyway, it is my truth. Everybody has their own truth, right? Hi, a bunch of people here I haven't seen or talked to in a long time. So that's one of the things about the fifth step that I think about that's important, is that that's a cleansing, that is kind of like a release of getting you back to a place where you can feel kind of right with the world, right with your higher power, your creator, universal love, the ultimate love of God or whoever your higher power is. And I think that makes a big difference. And for me, like I said, it was so cleansing and it just felt such a burden lifted the first time I did it. And I've done it times after that as well, but I just think it makes such a big difference in life to be able to unburden yourself. And you know what? Some type of people do this on a regular basis with maybe a therapist or somebody that they work with on a regular basis. So it's not like it's one and done. So it can happen where people do this multiple times over multiple years and multiple times of the years, of their years that they're on the planet here. But I think it's important, and I also think it's something that a lot of times you realize you're not as bad as you think you were. Some people just always beat themselves up and always think they're not measuring up and are very hard on themselves. So I think that's one of the things you want to definitely change if you can, is don't be so hard on yourself. There's a lot of people that love you, even if you don't recognize that all the time. Maybe that's something you want to think about, is like, you know what? Make a list of all the people that love you and have loved you. And maybe look at that list every once in a while. Not a bad little project to do. And keep adding to that list as new people, join you in your life and you meet new people. Maybe that's another nice thing you can do for yourself. Hi, Stacy. So I think that's important, that, there's a lot of people that love other people. They don't say it every day because, you don't think about it. But today was a funny happenstance. I'll call it that. I had gotten an instant message from someone I didn't know who wanted to get in touch with somebody who I am friends with on Facebook. And they asked about, connecting with her. And it was so funny because I didn't know if it was a real thing or not a real thing. And I've known this woman, at least 30 years. I'm going to say maybe even longer. And so this morning, I sent her an instant message. And I got a message back from her right away, like shortly after I had sent it. And I just said, hey, this person's trying to get a hold of you. I just want to know if it's legit. They want you to friend request them. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, I was so funny. I was just thinking about you this morning. She says, I was drying my hair and I flipped it over and I was blow drying it, and when I flipped it back up, it was all wild, and she said, "Oh my God, I look just like Shirley." So she was thinking of me like at the exact moment that I was going to send her this message. It was just so funny. I'm like, yeah, I got the wild hair still. I haven't had a haircut in a long time. Not that I want to, because I could care. And I guess that was just something funny that happened all at the same time. So you know what? People think of you all the time, so you don't realize it. And when you connect with somebody else, they're probably thinking of you at that same exact moment. So, reach out to them, text them, call them, instant message them, put them on, find them on Facebook if you're not friends on Facebook with them yet. That's a cool thing to do, right? So I think that's a lot of things that I'll show you the brook. Okay. Oh, you want to see the brook on the other side? Okay, everybody. My daughter wants me to show you the brook. We'll go over here. It is a nice brook. I love being over here. I come down the end of the driveway a lot. How's that? It just goes on. And it's flowing pretty slowly at the moment. Hey, Robin. How's that, Stacy? Is that good? It's nice over here. What another gorgeous day we have, huh? We've just been so lucky in Connecticut here. We've had some gorgeous, gorgeous days. The sun is shining. Yes, it's on the cool side, I know, guys. Not a big deal. Okay? We can get over that piece of it. Just get out there, put a sweatshirt on if you have to. It's not the end of the world. It's just so beautiful. And I don't want it to be too hot too fast anyway, so we're good here. As far as I'm concerned, we're good. But I think I really like the fifth step, and I really like the fact that, I remember multiple times during the day. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a new list. Today I'm going to do what I told you to do. Make a list of all the people that love you. And I'm going to have that so I can see it every day. Why not? What would that hurt, right? And so that when you're feeling down or you're feeling depressed or you're feeling you can just take a look at that list and go, you know what? All these people love me. How come I don't love me? Or how come I'm not feeling, up today? And you know what? There are times when you're not up. That's okay. I feel like I don't have my mojo right now. Everything in my life shifted when this happened. I put on holistic events for a living. Guess what? I'm not. There are no events happening until July at the earliest, from what I can tell. I did book July 19th and August 23rd for the big one, but I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. What if something changes between now and then? Then I have to shift it again. So for me, that's a little heartbreaking because I really love, meeting all the holistic people, meeting the people who come to find out more about holistic stuff. It's really a bummer for me, but it is what it is, and I can't change it. So sometimes I do get down and I do feel disappointed and sad that I can't do those things that I love doing because it is my passion. But I also have to recognize that it's just for today and that I will, again, on some level, be able to do these things. And I will figure out how to do them. I've been doing them virtually. I have my Shirley shopping show every Saturday at 9:30 now. So that's been pretty cool. And I'm hoping that, we can continue to connect with people in ways that we can. And maybe not in the ways that we used to. And that's just how it is. So do what you can for yourself today. I'm going to say I'm signing off with the sun is always shining. Here we are. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous day. Blue sky. Not even a cloud in the sky out here, guys. It's just perfect. So the sun is always shining. It's always got your back. Remember that your Creator does too. And all the people that love you, as well as me. So signing off for now. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good afternoon and evening. Bye for now.